All right, I missed the first segment of the show today. Skipped in a little late, just in time to have Bob Bohr on. Why was I late? Why are you late, JT? You're ripping on Nico every day for being late, and then you're showing up. Well, I was late because my buddy Joe Borelli, who we had on last week, gave away 10 copies of his book, and my buddy Lou Gelomino and Mark Fonte, two of the best attorneys around, are getting ready to launch another lawsuit against the mayor and the governor and the Board of Education because kids got to go back to school. And they said, JT, can you come down and say a few words? And you know what happens? The politicians, they're great. They're the best in the business. Mike Riley was there. Joe Borelli was there. They're fighting for us. They got to walk a fine line because they still got to try to get things out of the mayor and get things out of the governor. So they can't say everything. They like when I come down because I don't give a shit. But ship. I made the point quite clear. Whenever you guys are done having a conversation over there, let me know. I'll continue the show. Okay, thank you. I made it quite clear that the reason teachers aren't in school right now, because the teachers want to go to work, it's because they got a mafioso head of the teachers union, Michael Mulgrew, and he's shaking down the city. And I'll bring you some of that footage tomorrow when you get there. But someone who has been fighting for the children of New York for quite some time, great friend of the show, one of my dear friends, Jennifer Bohr Cuevas, joins us right now. She's a licensed clinical social worker, disaster mental health professional. And Jen, I know way back, as far as June and May, you were talking about getting kids back to school. And I really wanted you to come on today and talk about what no one's talking about, the cost of the mental deterioration of these kids being schooled in their bedrooms.
It is nothing short of the next public health crisis. That's what it is. There is nothing good about remote learning. You know, when Nico and I were going back and forth earlier today about the pros and the cons of the blended hybrid model, you know what I have to say? There are no pros.
Right. It's all cons. And yeah, I mean, one of the points I wanted to make today at the rally, but I didn't, was the only thing I want blended is my margarita. You know what I'm saying? I don't want my kid blended. And Jen, Staten Island gets a bum rap sometimes. They think, they're all Italians, they're all Guidos, they're all gangsters and all this other stuff, right? We got a good, strong fabric of America, middle-class community here, right? And the one thing I would hope as a parent that I would never want my son or daughters to be named is a cohort. A cohort is someone who's involved in a crime. And the Board of Education has classified these kids into categories called cohorts. Cohort A, cohort B. What are they doing to these kids right now? Are the kids' best interests at heart here?
No. And what is being, it's being politicized, okay? The entire school situation is being politicized. And our kids are suffering for it. This is a public health crisis for them. They are not learning. They are not getting the social, emotional lessons that they would be learning if they were in building, if they were in person in school. And this is, I have to tell you, there are nights this keeps me up, and I just don't know anymore what the answers are, except these fabulous lawsuits that are now coming forward. You talked about your group that's doing a lawsuit, and also the group that I used to be the spokesperson for, New York Parents Parents and Teachers Against Distance Learning, are doing a class action suit. And I think it's going to have to come down to that now, to sue Governor Cuomo.
Well, look, luckily for me, I went to, many years of schooling with my buddy Lou Gelomino, who's the attorney with his partner Mark Fonte, who started bringing these lawsuits. And I can tell you this, Jen, These guys brought a lawsuit against the mayor and the governor to open restaurants a couple weeks back. They brought the lawsuit on a Tuesday. And then the next day, Wednesday, the governor and the mayor came out with an opening date. So sometimes, you know, these politicians, they beg for our votes, and when they're in, we have no recourse. So you could hit them over the head with a bat. They're not going to change their view, but they're scared of the court system because they know that they are overreaching on their authority. So as many times as we can get lawsuits in on them, that's the only thing these people respond to, as far as I'm concerned.
And I want to encourage our viewers to, if you have a special needs child, and everybody knows who knows me from Liquid Lunch knows I have my Jessie who's autistic. If your child has special needs, has an individualized education plan, and it is not being followed, I want you to touch base with an educational attorney. If you cannot find one, you reach out to me. These wonderful people are not charging just to hear your story to see if you have a case. So not only do we have to take these class action suits against New York, we also have to take other lawsuits against the school districts for not providing the education that is supposed to be free and appropriate to the child.
Well, look, Jen, you know, I've been making this point over and over again. Tracy, my kid's mom, was a member of the teachers union. She's a teacher. I know tons of teachers and principals. And the one thing is the teachers kind of get lumped in with their union leaders, right? That, oh, why won't these teachers go back to work? No, the teachers I talk to, many of them in many different boroughs, they want to go back to work. They look at the kids and their students as like their kids. They want to see them do great. That's why they chose to get into this, right? And I'm hearing more and more teachers say they have to choose between going back to work or sending their kid to school, because if their kid's remote, they can't leave the house, right? So what's the mental effect on even the teachers in being a good parent when they have to decide whether to work or feed their family or take off or go on strike?
There is actually a term for that, and I was hoping maybe at another time we could segment on it. It's called mom guilt, and that is the guilt of feeling torn between your own family and your outside responsibilities. And I want to actually call it mom and dad guilt, because I don't think it's fair to just call it mom guilt. But yeah, that's something we need to explore. It's devastating. And it is, there are a lot of people who are going to need to choose between earning the paycheck and being home with their kids.
Yep.
It's an awful choice to make.
It sure is. There are going to be a lot of people who need disaster mental health professionals to get them through this mentally. So I would imagine your business is going to be skyrocketing soon, because everyone's going to want to come to you and get their head in order when all this crap is over. But
actually, a lot of what I'm doing right now is the advocating piece of my career, because so many children are not getting their needs met, the special needs kiddos, that I'm in CSE constantly, special ed committee, trying to get these kids something.
Wow.
But please, audience, reach out to your special ed attorneys. They're waiting for you. They don't normally charge for consultations. And the last thing I want to say is that I want people to start thinking outside of the box of public education. If this is the way it's going to be, then maybe it's not for us anymore. Look at what homeschooling is. Look at charter schools, private schools. It's okay. It is okay to look at those options and explore them.
okay. All right, Jen, we got to leave it there. Thank you so much. She's on the spot. She's one of my great friends, and she's one of the finest experts in this stuff. Jen, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. You're the bomb.
Thank you.
Okay. Lots of people joining. My friend Victor on the stream here has pointed out to me, Victor Rukavina says that some of the synonyms for cohort, and he didn't like my pronunciation, so he did it phonetically for me. Lou Tassetta just joined us. A group or company, a companion or associate, one of 10 divisions in a Roman legion, any group of soldiers or warriors, an accomplice. He got off with probation, but his cohorts got 10 years apiece. I don't know. Can we come up with something else like group one instead of calling our kids cohorts, which are usually the other people named in an indictment? Technically, I don't know. Lots of crazy stuff going on, and I'm going to break it down some more. I'm going to go even crazier. And if you just tuned in, like my buddy Lou Tessetta, we're giving away 2 Goose Down pillows today, $300 value. All you got to do is put a comment in the stream that says, I want my pillows. Quick break. News of the day right after this.